Hey guys, Kurt here, and I wanted to address this energy. Oh my God. The whole spiritual community, general spiritual community, seems to be all abuzz about this energy that's coming in and coming from within. And it is very intense energy. I haven't really felt energy waves coming in or anything coming from the earth or anything like that in a while. It's been a while, and I'm feeling this one just a little bit, but it's definitely gotten my attention this time. So it's very, very intense energy. It's a combination of things. There are galactic energies coming in. There are like 5 or 6 retrogrades going on all at the same time right now. And then this is affecting the Earth. The Earth is a living organism, and so the Earth's vibration is increasing also. The Earth is, of course, trying to raise its own frequency, and we are subject to that. So these energies are really, really intense. We're being leveled up into the 5th dimension. The 5th dimension and the 3rd dimension merging. And in this kind of place, it's like both. You can do both. You can bounce back between the two. And when you're doing this bouncing back, a lot of emotional energy can come to the surface. Anger, anxiety, intense love. I have some of the students I'm working with are experiencing intense love, just kind of all over the place. And the best thing that you can do when you're experiencing intense emotional energy that's being triggered like this is to let it go. Now, how many YouTubers have you seen that told you just let it go, and they didn't really tell you how to let it go? How do I do that? Okay, I know I gotta let it go. I get that. What do I do? How do I do that? Because you think you're letting it go, and you're like, I'm trying to let it go, but there's all this resistance, and I can't seem to let it go. What the hell is the deal here? I'm gonna give you a technique on how to let it go. How to let it go. And it's very, very easy. It's very, very easy. So first and foremost, always your foundation is that you want to be accepting. You want to be accepting when there is an upset, when there's this emotional energy that you're feeling. Anger, sadness, anxiety. My students who are very advanced, my advanced students that I work with, I have my workshop. Those people, we deal with all emotions, because what we're trying to do is get out of the duality patterns of the mind so that you can shift your energy to align with your soul. And you can experience intense feelings of love, of butterflies. And to shift out of the duality of the mind and align with your soul, you have to dissipate that energy as well. And so we're dissipating all emotional energy. So it doesn't matter if you're feeling good or bad. This practice works for both. I'm assuming every single one of you watching, almost every single one of you, it's because you feel bad. And those are the worst, of course, when you feel bad. So always accept first. Always, always, always. It's okay to feel your feelings. Allow yourself to feel the feelings, but you don't have to listen to them. Okay? You don't have to give any credence to this energy. These are just patterns that are coming from deep within you. It's your conditioning. It's your subconscious. It's the pain body, as Eckhart Tolle likes to call it. It's the ego. It's the id. Whatever label you want to give it, that's what's going on. So why it's happening isn't important. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But always accept it. Allow this energy to exist. If you don't surrender to it in this way, if you resist it, oh, I gotta make it stop. That's the worst thing you can do. Or thinking that you're letting it go. Because, so if you think you're letting it go, but I just can't seem to let it go, what you're doing is you're resisting it. You're saying it's not allowed to be there. Okay, this is acceptance. Is you're saying that the feeling that you're feeling is allowed to be there. It's okay if that feeling is there. I accept it. Okay? And you become an alchemist from that point forth. You transmute it. But when you're in that cycle of saying, I'm trying to let it go and I can't seem to get it to let go, it's because you're resisting it. You're resisting it. You're saying, I got to get rid of it. It's bad. You're judging it. okay? It's not good or bad, it just is. Okay, it's kind of a paradox. We're not trying to get rid of it. We're just going to allow it to be and to just cycle out, okay? And emotions are tricky. They're like a spinning wheel. You just got to stop adding energy to the wheel. So stop resisting it. Stop trying to let it go. Stop trying to let it go. Don't be doing anything to let it go, okay? Unless it's a really intense energy. If it's a negative energy, you can kind of ground it down and out. That helps if it's a really intense energy, but it's really kind of an aspirin, okay? It's not fixing the root cause of the problem. This video is to address the root cause of the problem. So very, very important to just allow the wheel to spin. Just stop adding energy to it. And one thing that you can do to add energy to the spinning wheel is to say, this has to stop, I gotta get it to stop. And you fret over trying to get it to stop. So acceptance can be very tricky in that way. You have to really accept the feeling and just allow it to be. Okay, I'm having this feeling is there, all right. I don't like it, but okay, I'm just gonna allow it and not judge it. Okay, so that's the basis, that's your starting point, that's your baseline, that's your foundation, okay? Always. With everything in life. And this is how I teach this to my students. It doesn't matter if it's thoughts, feelings, or situation, or something that somebody else is doing. You have to always accept what is and live in the now. It's happening right now. It's taking place. It's there. It's done. Just allow it to be. Allow the wheel to spin is how you get it to stop, okay? So I'm going to tell you 3 steps now that you've learned acceptance. I'm going to give you 3 steps on how to stop these patterns, okay? And it's very, very simple. It might take me a few minutes to explain each step, but then I'm going to go over them again at the end, and you're going to realize how simple the steps really are. It just takes a minute to explain them. Okay, so here's step 1. Step 1 is remember what you is. And that's not poor English. That's just kind of a clever way that I thought up to get my point across, okay? What is the self? What is me? You're a soul. You're not your body or your mind, okay? You is a soul. And what is that? Pure consciousness. How do we know that me, what me is, what is me? What is the self? How do we know that it's pure consciousness? If you've ever observed your thoughts, which you do that every day. Everybody does that every day. Why did I think that? Think about it for a second. No pun intended, but think about it for a second. If there's a thought and there's a you that can see the thought, what's you? Get it? I'm going to say that again. If there's a thought and there's a you that can see the thought, what's you? Pure consciousness. Okay? The mystics refer to this as I am. I am. What is the soul? The answer is I am. The soul is defined as I am. That's the soul. I am. Nothing else. It's pure consciousness, okay? So that's step 1. Be clear about what you is. I am pure consciousness. The observer, the seer, the looker, the noticer, right? Nothing else. You are that which sees, that which knows that you exist. You know you exist. That's all. I am. You see, you observe. Okay, step 1. Step 2, do not judge the patterns as you label them, and be specific when you label them, okay? So here's what I mean. You don't want to judge them because, remember, we're going to accept them and allow them to be. Okay, it's there, it's going on, I get it. It's fine. It's not good or bad, it just is. It just is. Don't give any resistance to it. Allow the feeling or the thought pattern to be. Allow it to exist, okay? So we're not going to judge it. If you judge it, That's your mind coming in through the back door, trying to take over again, trying to keep you stuck in the pattern, okay? So, what do? Don't judge the thought or the feeling pattern, thought pattern or emotional pattern. Don't judge the pattern as you label it and be specific. Here's what I mean. A thought pattern can be, for example, a self-worth pattern, all right? I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I don't have any friends, I'm a loser, whatever it is, right? That's a self-worth pattern, and right there you can see it's made up of at least 5 different thoughts, okay? That's a thought pattern. Another thought pattern can be, I don't know, your abundance pattern, or lack pattern, right? Money is hard to get, I don't have enough money. Money is bad, you got to do so much for so little, right? Those are 4 thoughts that make a lack pattern, okay? Or even the fret pattern. I fret over everything. I got to get this laundry done. I got to mow the lawn. I got to do dishes. I got to balance my checkbook. Whatever. I'm fretting, my fret pattern, or the worry wart pattern, or whatever you want to call it, okay? These are thought patterns. Emotional patterns are you feel an emotion. And the emotion can be triggered by a conscious thought or a subconscious thought. If it's triggered by a conscious thought, maybe there's somebody cut you off in traffic and you get angry. You know why you're angry. Okay? You have a reason that you're conscious of to be angry or sad or whatever. Okay? Subconscious is, have you ever felt like, for example, a sense of anxiety or sadness out of the blue, and you're like, why am I feeling this? This sucks, but there isn't any reason. You're just puzzled, like, why? Why am I feeling this anxiety? And like feeling the anxiety and not having an explanation for it makes you more anxious, okay, right? Have you ever had that happen? I'm sure all of you have at some point in your life. Where it's coming from, it doesn't matter. It's coming from your subconscious, but I guess what I should say is why it's coming doesn't matter, okay? It's coming from your subconscious. Why it's happening doesn't matter, okay? It's just your subconscious. You don't have to figure out the reason why. Don't fixate. Don't try to figure out what to do. That's what makes it worse. Don't get stuck in thought patterns, okay? That makes it worse. All you need to know is, oh gosh, there's this anxiety. There's no conscious explanation for it. It's your deeply rooted subconscious. That's all it is. And it's causing this emotional pattern. Okay, emotions, physical emotions, are the interaction between your mind and your physical body. And your mind has a conscious and a subconscious. Okay, so don't worry about where it's coming or why it's coming. You know it's coming from subconscious. And why, where's this kind of, I don't get it. It doesn't matter. It's a subconscious emotional pattern. That's all you need to know. And you're going to label it the subconscious anxiety pattern, the subconscious sadness pattern, whatever. There's my emotional pattern. Okay? So you're going to label these patterns. Okay? Now that's step 2. Step 3 is, and this is the most important step. Okay? Step 3 is, that's all. Okay? Because here's the thing with step 2. I give you this exercise of labeling the patterns. I give this to one of my students, and naturally, they have this tendency to go, all right, what's next? Right? Oh, okay, I gotta label the patterns. All right, what do I do with the patterns now? What's next? Right? That's what they're thinking is, they've labeled the patterns. The next step is that you do something with the patterns, right? No. The next step is, that's all. And your mind is going, well, now wait a minute. If I go to the effort to label these patterns, I should do something with them. What's the point if I'm not doing something with them? No, this isn't psychology. This is spirituality. And spirituality is where you align with your spirit, your soul, which is pure consciousness. It's pure consciousness. Your soul is pure consciousness. Right? Right. So, to align with pure consciousness, to align with your soul, which, by the way, gets you out of the nasty emotion that you're feeling. Okay, that's why you would want to do this exercise, is to get out of that trigger, right? Align with your soul. You just have to be aware of it, right? You guys want to know, because this is how I started this video out. You know that you need to let go of something. You need to let go of the feeling. Okay, how do I do that? This is how. You just have to be conscious of it. And you have to allow it. You have to accept it. Allow the wheel to spin, okay? And how you can do that, how to be conscious, is the 3 steps. Okay, so why we're labeling the thought patterns or the emotional patterns is to be aware of them. Not why we are labeling them is so that we can work with them. We're not trying to work with them and organize them and make them neat and nice and pretty. All we're trying to do is just be aware of them. So you label it. And this is a process that you do continuously, thousands of times all the time, right? Oh, there's that pattern again. Okay. And then you focus on your body, you focus on your surroundings, you stay present. And then here comes another pattern. Oh, there's that one again. Okay. And if you're having a continuous emotional upset, you're feeling this anxiety nonstop, you are the whole time consciously aware that it is a pattern. And don't resist it. Just allow the wheel to run out of energy and eventually it'll stop. It may take several hours, okay? But don't get wrapped up in it. You don't have to go along with this pattern. You don't have to listen to it, right? You don't have to give it any credence. You don't have to listen to what it's doing or saying or trying to make you feel. You don't have to give it any of your belief. You don't have to any of that, all right? But at the same time, allow it to exist. Allow it to be there, okay? Don't judge it. Accept it. Allow the wheel to spin as you are doing this 3-step exercise. Number 1, I am pure consciousness. I am what sees the pattern. Number 2, that's my anxiety pattern. Step 3, that's all. You see how simple that is? It does take me a few minutes to explain the intricacies, the why what a pattern is. That's why we're at 17 and a half minutes, because I wanted to explain what a pattern is and what the observer is, what you is, right? I had to explain that, set it up. But when you boil it all down, this is a very simple process. This is how you let go of these feelings that are coming up during this energy, or any time that you're feeling an upset. Okay, step 1, remember what you is, the observer, pure consciousness. Step 2, don't judge the pattern, allow it to be, accept it as you label it so that you can be conscious of it. Okay, step 3, that's all. If you want to align with consciousness, you have to just be conscious. You're just practicing consciousness over and over and over again, while allowing this feeling to be there. Don't resist it. Don't resist it, okay? And if it's particularly intense emotion, and it's a negative emotion, you can sort of in a kundalini, like your kundalini energy or the energy in your chakra system, you can envision like channeling the energy down and out through your root chakra, okay? If it's a negative feeling, you can do that too. But that's just kind of that's just dealing with a symptom. That's not really fixing the root of the problem. Fixing the root of the problem is the 3-step process, and you keep doing those 3 steps over and over and over again because you want to be conscious of the feeling. You don't get sucked into it. You don't want to get absorbed in the feeling and begin to identify with it. You is what sees the feeling, and you keep practicing that consciousness over and over and over again. I am what sees the feeling. I am what sees the feeling. I am what sees the feeling or the thought pattern. Allow it to be, but be aware of it all the time. Label it and be specific, and just keep doing that over and over and over again. Now, you're not going to do it obsessively like this. It's my pattern, it's my pattern, it's my pattern, it's my pattern, it's my pattern. Oh my God. Like, okay, just calm down. All right? And just know that this is what's going on. That's all you have to do. Know that this is what's going on. That's all you're doing. It could really, the 3 steps you could really say is 1 step. Honestly, because all you're doing is just knowing that it's an emotional pattern. It's not you. The emotion is not you. The thoughts are not you. Those are not you. You is what sees them. So and again, physical emotion is the interaction between your mind and your physical body. Okay, you just have to allow the wheel to run out of energy. Okay, so there you go, guys. Everybody's talking about this energy. A lot of people are saying, you just got to let it go. How? There you go. I gave you step-by-step instructions. I hope this helps. Please enjoy. Happy Thursday. I'll see you guys on the next one.